Welcome back to the Cumbie Show, where we tell like it is and we don't care how you feel. And I have waited all season long to make this video. This one feels good to make. As we all know, the Georgia Bulldogs went on the road to Knoxville and put a whooping, an ass whooping, on the Tennessee Volunteers. And boy, was it fun to watch. Tennessee brought everything. They brought all guns out. Peyton Manning was in attendance. Dolly Parton they had out there singing the Rocky Top. More like Rocky Flop, as we all know. I mean, they brought out all the guns, all the stops. Nothing could help them. They met the big, bad Georgia Bulldog, and it was ugly. Georgia wins 38-10, and besides that first play, this was pure dominance by Georgia. I called it. Almost exactly this in my preview prediction. Go back and watch my preview prediction, and I basically called this exact thing. My keys to the game, what I expected to see, unfolded right before our eyes, and it feels good. It feels good. I can't lie. Tennessee has won, and I'm not saying every Tennessee fan because we all have bad apples in our fan base, but Tennessee has some of the worst fans I have in any sport of any team in any sport, plain and simple. They are some of the nastiest, most just downright like inhuman. Like it's bad. It is bad words. I'm pretty sure we've all seen that one guy going around putting death threats on Brock Bowers, saying that he hopes Brock Bowers plays in this game so they can kill him. Anyway, I'm getting on a rant. Obviously, I know not every Tennessee fan is bad. There's some great Tennessee fans out there, but there's some pretty nasty Tennessee fans. And being someone that watches a bunch of YouTube videos, you know, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I see Tennessee fans all the fucking time talking shit. This one feels good. Tennessee, you suck. Let's jump into the game, though. Let's break this down because this was exactly what I wanted to see, exactly what I was expecting from Georgia, and it was just good to see. They won 38-10. Obviously, we all know Tennessee came out swinging on their very first play, on their very first drive, with a 75-yard touchdown run by Jalen Wright. I mean, first play of the game, they come out. It was a busted coverage by our secondary, and he took it to the house. I mean, just straight. I mean, like, he went up the gap and just 75-yard runs. No one was catching him. Touchdown, 7-0. I was like, you know what? That's fine. We got it out of the way. Georgia, we got that. We let them. We knew they were going to score on the first drive. We went ahead and got it out of the way. And after that, Tennessee did not score another touchdown. They didn't even put up points until late into the second, and that was it. But I mean, I don't even know what to say about this game. Carson Beck was phenomenal. He was 24 of 30 with 80 completion percentage, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 12.4 average on all completed passes. And this was the Dylan Bell guy. He showed out. Dylan Bell was rocking tonight. I mean, he had a touchdown pass. That little amazing from him to Rosemary-Jack-Saint for 18 yards touchdown. He also had 5 of 90 receptions, 1 touchdown reception for 90 yards. I mean, Dylan Bell, commend him. Great. I mean, this offensive firepower is just elite for Georgia. Ladd McConkey was out. I guess he's suffering like a little ankle soreness, not a full-on ankle sprain, but a little soreness in his ankle. So even with Ladd McConkey out, we still, I mean, this team can't be slowed down. And all joking aside, just to get down to the stats, because I do like to talk about the stats and put it into words, like what we actually saw, instead of just shit-talking, even though I love shit-talking, and I love shit-talking the Tennessee Volunteers, because y'all deserve it most of the time. Y'all got to move on from Joe Milton. Y'all have to. He is not it. He has proved all year long. I forget y'all's backup's name, but y'all got to put him in. Joe Milton was 17 of 30 on the day, sitting at a 56 completion percentage for only 147 yards, 0 touchdowns, and he only had 1 passing play all game long, longer than 20 yards, which was a 21-yarder. He averaged about 8.6 yards per completion. That's not bad, but still not enough. I mean, the rushing yards weren't there. The passing yards weren't there. Tennessee had a total of 277 offensive yards compared to Georgia's 472. Again, Georgia almost doubled their total offensive production as the team that they're facing. Georgia was averaging 6.6 yards a play. I mean, just everywhere from top to bottom. After that first play of the game, Georgia dominated, plain and simple. It was fun to watch, but I mean, like I said, all kidding aside, Tennessee, like y'all got some fucking problems, and Joe Milton is not it. And like I said, in my keys to the game for Tennessee, go back and watch it. But my keys to the game for Tennessee were to hit explosive plays fast and keep that momentum going. Convert on third downs and get pressure on Carson Beck. They did none of that. None of that. They did come out with a very fast explosive play on the very first. I mean, you couldn't get a bigger explosive play faster than that, plain and simple. But they couldn't keep that momentum going. Plain and simple. I told you that a way to beat this Georgia team is to come out swinging hard, throwing haymakers, and you've got to keep that momentum going. You have to beat this team. You've got to go into the later rounds, and you've got to get up early. Because I said one thing that we're going to do is in the first quarter, it's going to be a 10-7, 10-10, 14-10 type game. And then next thing you know, Georgia's going to rattle off 25 points, and it'll be the fourth quarter, and you'll be looking at it, holy shit, they're winning 38-10. That's exactly what I said, and this is exactly what happened. Early in the first quarter, Tennessee comes out swinging. Now, I think Georgia was able to correct that mistake and look a lot better earlier in the game. And by halftime, this game pretty much seemed like it was out of hand for Tennessee, out of reach. Georgia was firing on cylinders, but you still had to say, okay, we still got the halftime. Maybe you can make some halftime adjustments, come out and put some points up on the board. No, they couldn't. And next thing you know, you look in the fourth quarter, it's 38-10. Georgia's got this game in the bag. They're trying to run out the ball. Another game, another win. And it was just an all-around ass whooping. All-around ass whooping. Tennessee, out of every single... I went through and I looked at the play-by-play of this game. And like I told you, I said that Tennessee needs to have explosive plays. Anything that 20 yards or longer, you've got to hit. Because where this Georgia team... And I actually like what I saw when I get on this. This Georgia's team's weakness is their red zone defense. For the past 9 games that we've seen, the one thing that Georgia has a really tough time with is the red zone defense. When teams get in the red zone, the majority of the time, 9.9 times out of 10, they're allowing a touchdown. And I said, but Georgia's one of the best in the country at preventing teams from getting to the red zone. So what did Tennessee need to do? They needed to hit explosive plays. They needed to find a way to get behind this defense, get in the red zone, or just hit the haymaker and get a touchdown on an explosive play. I went through and I counted. Tennessee had 6 plays out of their entire game. Out of all their offensive plays, Tennessee had 6 plays that went for 10 or more yards, with 2 of those plays coming in the fourth quarter when the score was already 38-10 and the game was over. And they only had 2 plays for 20 yards or longer. That is not cutting it. That almost 0 explosive plays. Besides that first one, and obviously that first one counted, they had 0 explosive plays. They had the 75-yard run, and then they had a 28-yard pass by Joe Milton. That was his longest. That was the only 2 plays that went longer than 20 yards for Tennessee. And 10 yards or more, they only had 6. It's just not going to cut it. And another thing that I'm actually very impressed to see, that I actually like seeing, was that going into this game, I said one of Georgia's weaknesses is their red zone defense. When teams get in the red zone on Georgia, that team scores. I think this is actually since week 2, I believe. Anyway, the point is, when teams get in the red zone on Georgia, they score. Tennessee got into the red zone twice, besides the 75-yard run, because that's not technically getting in the red zone. Tennessee drove into the red zone on Georgia twice this game. And they only were able to get a field goal out of that. They had one of them was a turnover on down, and one of them was a field goal right before the half, putting them at it was what I think at that point 24-10, 28-10, something along those lines. So really good to see that in Georgia, a team that can get some offensive production going, drove into the red zone twice, and Georgia stopped them from scoring a touchdown both times. And that's also another impressive fact, is that this Tennessee team only got in Georgia's red zone twice the entire game. That's another. Everywhere you look from top to bottom, this Georgia team is easily looking like the number one team in the country, the best team in the country. They are playing the best football, in my opinion, at current, maybe besides Bo Nix in Oregon. They are playing some of the best ball right now. And, I mean, it's just all around dominance. And here's another stat that I want to throw out, because this is also pitiful, and this is just for Tennessee fans to realize, like, these are the things you got to fix. I said going into this game, Tennessee was one of the worst third down conversion teams in the country, and they need to get better about that. They need to be able to convert third downs on this Georgia defense. And Georgia is one of the best teams on third down conversions on offense and defense. They are one of the best in the country at stopping teams on third down, and they are one of the best teams at picking up a third down on offense. Georgia went 9 of 13 on third down conversions. They were 69%. Tennessee went 2 of 11, sitting at 18% on their third down conversion rate. That is piss poor. You could have sent a blind man out there and he would have had a better percentage on converting a third down. How? How do you do that? Tennessee, you fucking suck. You're no good. You're not a good football team, especially with Joe Milton. Now, we'll see what your backup can do next year, but God almighty, I mean, I told you exactly what I said in my preview prediction is exactly what unfolded in front of our eyes. I said I would give Joe Milton 1 or 2 plays where he would hit a couple of explosive plays that get a little bit of points, but Georgia would settle down quickly and just rattle off like 25 straight points. That's exactly what we saw. Joe Milton had 1 pass for more than 20 yards, and they had 1 huge run, and that was it. After that, this Georgia defense didn't allow a single thing. And if they wanted to, they could have easily put up 50. But when you go up 38-10, at that point, you got our second, third stringers in. I mean, it's over. I don't know what much to say. I will say that I will give credit to Tennessee. One thing that I thought they did well is that they did stop this Georgia's run game pretty well. Georgia only averaged about, I mean, they only had, I have it here, let's see, their rushing total, they only had 177 yards on the game today, which isn't bad by any means, but give credit there that Tennessee was able to kind of slow down this Georgia run game. Kendall Milton was only at 4.7 average. Dejon Edwards, 3.1 average. He had 0 touchdowns. Kendall Milton did have a touchdown. So, I mean, give credit there. But other than that, there's not a lot to take from this game if you're a Tennessee fan, besides to chalk it up as you got your ass whooped. You got it handed to you. Move on to the next. Y'all got Vanderbilt. Y'all can close out the season with a win right there. We'll see what bowl game y'all get into. And just hope that backup quarterback is better than Joe Milton, because he is not it. Joe Milton is not it. I don't know what more you need to see from him. Y'all should have replaced his ass way earlier in the season. This was a ass whooping from top to bottom, and I loved every second of it. Maybe besides that first play. But other than that, I loved every second of it. I told you, I called exactly this. Go back and watch my preview prediction. To a T, I called this. I think I predicted the score to be 38-17 or somewhere around there. So I gave Tennessee a little bit more points, but right on the fucking money. But it was a good game. Nonetheless, Georgia is looking lethal. I'm excited for this rivalry coming up. They've got Georgia Tech coming up this weekend. I will do a preview and prediction of that video coming out later this week, and I will do a preview and prediction of some of the other bigger rivalries and kind of going over the college football playoff coming out of week 12, going into week 13. After tomorrow night, we'll see the updated playoff rankings. Obviously, the unfortunate injury to Jordan Travis, the quarterback for FSU. I hate to see that. We'll see what the committee thinks about that. Do they move Washington above them? I still think that if FSU wins out, if their backup quarterback can come in and win out against Florida and Louisville in the ACC, I think they deserve a spot in the college football playoff. But we'll see. Once all that comes out, I will have videos coming out later this week, so stay tuned for those. But other than that, Tennessee, you fucking suck. Over and out.